Hello, everyone, and welcome to an EBL Bonus podcast. Not officially numbering this one. It will be bonus number one. How about that? Bonus number one. And we're joined here today by Mofo.
Hello, everybody.
And Jerry is here.
Hello.
And so we just wanted to do a quick draft preview podcast. There are not as many draft articles this year as there normally are, so I figured, why not talk about it? So we're going to go through and talk about what we look for in draft prospects and then kind of nail out each position. And then give you our top five at the end. That way, if you're lazy, you can just skip to that. So, Mofo, do you want to start when you're looking for draft prospects?
Yeah, a lot of it depends on the specific positions. I mean, I'll go through the big man first. What I'm looking for in a big man, first and foremost, is probably... it's tough, actually.
I know.
I'll say the one thing I'm not looking for is poor inside. If the guy is poor inside, I will not take that guy anywhere high. I don't care. Unless he's like exceptional on both defense and rebounding. If he can't score inside, he's not going to be able to be useful.
Right.
So like a guy like, looking at this year's class, a guy like Daniel Yermakov, who's really solid power forward. He's only B- inside, so I figure he's gonna struggle with scoring right away at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the biggest thing I would look at as a positive for a big man would have to be, it comes down to rebounding, because I feel like rebounding is the factor when it comes to evaluating a good team or not. And if you have a good rebounder as a rookie, then it really looks bright for the future.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So what about you, Tyler? What do you think? What's
For
your pick for big men?
For big men, I'm gonna be 100% with you. I look at rebounding because I feel like if you go back in history and look at the past big men that have come out, I mean, there are always going to be the few exceptions, but the one general thing is if someone starts as a really bad rebounder, it's hard for them to ever get better. I mean,
Exactly.
you look at someone like...
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, like Ewan, Marcus Fleming, and they've gotten a little bit better throughout the years, but they've never been anything special.
Exactly. If a guy doesn't come in as a good rebounder, chances are he's not going to be very good.
I mean,
period.
we've seen people jump in and inside before. I mean, Dakari Johnson was a terrible scorer when he first came out, and now, later on, I know he's regressed a little bit lately, but there were a few years there.
He had a solid career scoring for a while.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think he probably had B- inside, I think, when he came out. Either way, like, it just seems like rebounding is the hardest. That and sometimes defense, too. I mean, if someone starts with, like, C+ defense...
I feel like defense is probably is the most common thing that people look for in a big man out of anything. But that could be a mistake because I feel like a guy can make it in the league as a poor big man defender, but he has to be a really good rebounder.
Yeah.
But if he's like a really good defender but a very poor rebounder, he's not gonna be much use.
Or they have to be exceptional in scoring, someone like Chuck Shields or Henry Luna. So
yes, exactly. But those guys are limited in what they can do. They're only
absolutely. They're bench pieces at best. So, how about you, Jerry? When you're drafting big men, what do you look for?
Well, for me, as you two do rebounding. That's pretty much the big one. I also like to be a defense guy, obviously, because defense wins championships, as they say. But
yeah, for sure.
I don't really value inside as much as Mofo does. But maybe a little bit of weight. But other than that, it's really. Well, actually, one of the things that I did a couple years ago when Juan Kuhn was actually a decent player was pick I had a couple seconds and I was just picking defense, or not defensive, big man depth, because I thought that I was kind of weak at depth at that point, and I just picked a bunch of really older, more quote unquote ready to play players. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
You got a guy like Bill Luck, who's a really good backup right now, but he's gonna be a free agent this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry brings up a good point, though. I forgot to even mention, for big men, I do definitely look at height and weight. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah. Well, although, don't you love Lee Vito, and he's really bad at height and weight.
Yeah, he's a little bit skinny for me, but I love him mainly for his defense. I mean, if I were drafting him coming out, I probably wouldn't have looked twice at him. But, I mean, once I saw, like, his blocks and stuff he was getting, well, I mean, what it comes down to for me is you have to be an exceptional talent to play center at like 6'9" or 6'10", and especially if your weight like like that one center coming out right now, Murray Minter. He's got A- rebounding, can't really do much else, but he's 6'9", 214 at center. Like, I'm just not sure how well that's going to translate.
Yeah, I don't like that guy's chances at all.
No.
But I think we're all in agreement here that rebounding is probably the number one factor for looking for a big man to draft.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
But then now you look at wing players, which really make up the core of the league here. What do you guys think is the number one factor when it comes to like a small forward, a shooting guard, maybe a point guard, so as a draftee?
I'll start this one. I'll let Jerry start the next one. For small forward and shooting guard, I kind of look for around the same. There's just a little bit of difference for me. For small forward, they need to be a better rebounder than they would if they were a shooting guard. And I think that's really the only difference. A lot of people say, well, you don't need as good of a handler at small forward, but I tend to strongly disagree with that. I think if you have someone who's a D+ handler at small forward, I mean, you look at someone like Michael Beasley, who turns the ball over a lot, even though he's a phenomenal scorer, or at least was for a while, so I'm not sure. But someone like Wayne Selden, who gets 4 turnovers a game at small forward.
I know what you're saying. I think Beasley's like the exception to the rule. If a guy's a bad handler, he's not going to score much. But Beasley did it. But he's just an exception to the rule.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. As far as like general things I look at, once again, I think defense is a big thing I look for, but scoring can outweigh that. Like someone like when who was it, Keith Frazier, when he first came out, I think he was like B+, and he had C+ defense. Everyone's like, oh well, this defense is bad, I don't want to take him. I'm like, well, you guys are morons. Like that's
he also went to like B defense in his first training camp, so
which is unprecedented. So but I think for small forwards, I look for overall just like general talent. Like I try not to get someone who's too focused in one area. Like I don't want someone who's like B+ inside with like C+ outside, like C handling and B- defense. I want someone who's more of like kind of B's across the board. Like they don't have to be that, but just
I know what you're saying. You
balance.
You like a guy like Brad Key this year who's done a ton of balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I just think someone like that, they traditionally have the best training camps coming out of small forward rather than someone who's specialized. So
Jerry, what do you look for in a small forward, shooting guard / point guard?
Yeah, I was going to say what Tyler said. Balance. As you said, Brad Key's probably going to be one of the top 3 picks, if not number 1.
Definitely.
He has B and C+, so it's also a good thing.
He's really, really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But the only thing I have concerns with is he's pretty much almost the same as Jack Washington was. He was B, C+, but 20 years old. Brad Key's 19, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
That's the only thing.
That's why training camp's such a crapshoot with a lot of these guys.
Right.
So tough to predict.
I think what it's shown to me is that if you go for the guys who are younger, they typically have better potential. Like, I mean, it's not always, obviously. I mean, it's just like the drafting is such a hard thing to get down, drafting, because there's no like one thing.
Yeah,
like,
some people are really, really good at it though.
Well, yeah.
But I don't know if I think it's part luck, it's part they know what to look for when they're drafting and skill wise. I don't know.
I didn't want to group point guards in with this because I look at point guards completely differently than I look at everything else. Point guards have got to be completely different. So, Jerry, when you're looking at point guards, what do you start with?
Handling, of course.
Handling?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, but even more so than defense. And I really like defense when drafting, but I got to be handling first. And then secondly, I go with the defense. Obviously, one of the biggest obvious things to put in a player, obviously. More obvious. I should say words other than that. Okay. Outside is pretty good as well. And if you can get player like 6'4", 6'5", other than like 6'1", 6'2", then that's also a bonus.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't really look at inside that much. I don't look at inside that much when it comes to a point guard, so.
I think they need to have a little bit, though. I mean,
yeah, a little bit, but it's not a deal breaker.
No.
I think when point guards, I agree with you. Inside is important, but if a guy's like C+ or above, I'm happy with him as a draftee. If he's below that, then it's a problem. But I feel like point guard, he's going to fail if he's not at least B- at outside handling and defense.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
If he's got to have it's just a point guard is so important in this league. If you're not good at all three of those things eventually, you're just probably not going to be a starting caliber point guard in the league.
I would agree with that, 100%.
Yeah.
And it really helps if they're a rebounder. Like look at like Whitehurst this year, he's a C rebounder. That's pretty good for a point guard.
Yeah.
Kurt Holding is a C plus, which is huge for a point guard because they can't get higher than that. I don't know.
Yeah, Bob Howes too. He's
yeah. If you can get a guy who can rebound along with being just a good point guard all around, then you hit the jackpot.
I agree with that 100%.
That's why Whitehurst is such a valuable commodity this year.
I think he's really good, and a lot of people are down on him because of his B- defense, and I just think that's stupid.
That is stupid.
I think that's so dumb.
I mean, he might take him a couple of training camps to get where people want him to be, but he might be like an A- outside, A handling by then. He might be a great all-around point guard before he becomes a great all-around defender.
Yeah, and he may never be. He may stay at B- defense forever, but I would never go into drafting him thinking that. Like I think he's too talented to assume that his defense is always going to suck.
Even if he is B-, and what's his floor? Like Shannon Scott, and then he gets 20 and 10 point guard. Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh, I would hate to have
Pretty
that. No, I absolutely agree with you guys. I'm not even going to add any more to that. I think you guys really covered exactly how I look at point guards.
I want to go back to one thing. One huge pet peeve I have with small forwards that I didn't mention.
Okay.
I've noticed it a lot, especially with the GM like Thug. I don't mean to point him out or anything, but
sure you do. Fuck Thug. Oh, sorry.
Come on, Thug's my boy. I don't want to point him out.
I know. I like Thug too.
But one thing he does a ton, which I don't understand, is he always drafts a guy with a great inside. And I knew you mentioned that before. You don't like a guy who's a great inside and not very good at anything else.
Yeah,
but
he always does that.
Thug always does that, but he's not the only one.
No.
But those guys, I have never once seen one of those guys work out, other than maybe Michael Gilchrist, but he was the number one pick. So. Right. But these GMs, they continue to draft guys who cannot shoot the ball at small forward, and I don't understand what their strategy is when they're thinking about this. Dude, I'm confused. It's been like 17 years of drafting, and they think a guy like Frank Murphy in this year's draft, B inside, pretty good, but C plus outside. He's always going to struggle to score.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, you look at who's the shooting guard this year too, Harry Lopez. He's got B inside, but he's got C plus outside. I mean,
yeah, you got like a shooting guard. It's a lost cause if you can't shoot. But I'm talking small forwards. I think shooting is so important and so overlooked in small forwards by people who draft.
Well, I see a lot of people drafting shooting guards like that too. That's why I pointed that out. I mean, it's not as common as small forwards, but
people who draft shooting guards who can't shoot high are just I don't want to say idiots, but basically they're idiots.
That's why they're not called inside guards, people. So
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's just a general thing. And then also in general, for all 5 positions, I always look at age. I mean, I think that's a general thing, but if someone's not looking at age, I don't understand the people who look at potential more than age. I've never understood that ever. Like I just
another pet peeve is people who look at potential and think it matters.
Yeah, I think it matters a little bit after the first 2 or 3 training camps. Yeah, but even then.
But I'm talking about it like as a draftee. Some people use scouted potential to draft people high.
Oh yeah, like I think people are just so used to like when they're trading and things like that, looking at a guy's potential after he's been in the league 3 or 4 years, and then looking at a draftee the same way. You know, like I just don't understand. I don't know. It's 2 separate things.
What about you, Jerry? You got any pet peeves you want to get out there in the open about draft?
Yeah. Well, potential obviously is not anything. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you can just look at Cran Iverson.
Exactly.
He had enough potential.
Very good point.
And Gary Hamilton too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, don't feel that you have to be locked into one position. Like,
yes.
Let's say you want a small forward. You don't have to just look at small forwards. You could look at power forwards. You could look at shooting guards as long as they're tall enough or weighty enough.
Exactly. You could also use those guys. You could go best player available and then trade that guy or another guy for a small forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with both of that. I just think that narrowing yourself to one position is never a good thing for anything. Whether you're looking for a small forward and, decide to look at even like center and power forward, like both of those positions could make good small forwards if they had the right skills. And beyond that, if you really, really need a point guard, and that's the only position you really need, and there's no point guards worth taking, don't reach. Don't reach for a point guard. Just take the best overall guy and try and figure it out later.
You'll find a point guard. Someone will trade you a point guard eventually.
Yeah, there's just no point in missing out on someone who's going to be maybe an eventual top 10 player in the league because you desperately need a point guard. Like I just don't.
Or you can just trade your picks.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I don't know. People sometimes feel like they can't get the value for their picks, so they have to make the pick. Yeah. And then maybe trade later. I don't know. I
think there's something a little bit to that though. Like when Thug had that great, I use the word great loosely, but when he had that draft where he took L.J. Rose and all of them, and then he traded all of those guys like after 2 or 3 seasons, I think they were all gone, and he got some great value out of them. So. And
then I think that's how he built his title team with Carmelo and LeBron. I think
it sure is. Yep, absolutely.
That was great GMing by him.
All right, so let's start running down positions. We're gonna start at center and work our way down. And also, I'm gonna provide time links on the forums, so in case anyone's looking for who's point guards and stuff, they can just skip to where they need to go. So I think that'll be a pretty cool thing. So
yeah.
Mofo, do you want to start with your top centers in this draft? I don't really know how we want to do this, but I figure we'll just
I'll look at some of the top prospects at center. I think it's not sure center is really that strong this year. I think it's solid. I think a guy like Tony Ellis is a clear top 5 pick. There's no question about that. He's 19. He's 7 foot tall. He's B+ inside. Good defense rebounding. I could see him going number 1. Or wouldn't really be a shock.
I think people might be a little bit scared after Perry Zimmerman last year. He didn't do too much in training camp, and he looked similar.
Zimmerman still looks great though in the future.
Oh yeah.
And then there's lesser guys. I'm not sure there's really a second lottery pick in a center. I'm sure there'll be a second center going in the lottery, but is anybody really going to take Max Conyers in the lotto because of his age and his poor handling and his poor inside?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He's clearly the second best center. I don't see anybody who's better than him.
Yeah,
but I don't think. Go ahead.
I think someone's going to take a chance on him, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be the right call.
Yeah.
Because of his age, I don't know if he's got huge potential.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy like there's younger guys like Don Barker and Bob Torgerson, whatever his name is.
Jay Wire. I kind of like Jay Wire a little bit. He's 21, but
he's the second tallest center in the draft. He's got some size. He's probably the third best, but he can't rebound.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going back to. Center is not that strong this year.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think there's a definite drop off from Tony Ellis. I mean, that's pretty apparent to anyone who just looks at this draft class. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But I think they're guys that are going to be serviceable. Just because someone may not be great doesn't mean that they won't. And obviously people can just explode out of nowhere and this and that. Like look at a guy like Sean Wade on Denver. Yeah. Like that was a crazy training camp.
He looked horrible last year, and looking like a future star.
Yeah, but I think there are guys that could come in and be good bench guys at least right away. Bob Torgerson, like you mentioned, I think he's probably
he's a top 5 in this class.
Yeah, he's top 5 center. I agree. Jay Wire, and then the outside guy, Max Conyers. Yeah. I mean, I think that those are probably the clear top cut centers in this.
Yeah, it's like Tony Ellis is on top tier, and then the rest of the guys are in a second or third tier below him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you guys had to pick like a real sleeper out of the center position, who would you say is your number 1 guy?
Jerry, you want to start?
I would probably go with let's see. I don't know, maybe Sam Potter or something. I mean, he's got all B- in the 3 big center categories, but he's 20. He's got a bunch of weight on him, so maybe.
He'll probably go like late first round, early second. He could develop with a couple good training camps. He's a pretty solid pick for a sleeper.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick at all.
Tyler, who do you think?
I'll say who was it? I'll say Don Barker probably.
I was gonna say him. Damn it.
Well,
I don't know if he would be sleeper.
Well, he might not be sleeper as much as.
I think he's gonna go pretty late in the first round. I don't think he's got much talent right now.
Yeah, that's true. I like his rebounding. If he can get his defense up a little bit. Another one that I was kind of debating on saying was.
Don't take them all. Come on, give me one.
All right, fine, you go then. Jeez.
I'll give you my real sleeper.
All right, give me your real sleeper.
Damian Rogers.
All right, okay.
Got the rebounding. He's got decent defense. Who knows? He might become like a really, really good defender, rebounder.
I think he can definitely become the next Satnam. I think that's.
I hope he could be a little better than Satnam.
I think isn't that almost exactly how Satnam looked when he came out?
I think so. Yeah, something similar to that. Yeah.
I think that's really close. I think he had F outside, but other than that, I think that's about the same. So, but that'll be interesting. Yeah, I think
at worst Rogers can be a backup.
No, I agree. So.
But if he can become like an A rebounding, A- defense, then all of a sudden he might be a starter. So,
his scoring wouldn't even matter at that point. So
yeah,
especially on one of those defense-oriented Nuggets teams or something.
Yeah, imagine Polo will get him, and then he'll kind of like go up to A rebounding, A defense after 2 training camps.
He'd probably have A- inside at that point if Polo got him. So. Since Mofo and I agreed on one, I wanna put out my solo sleeper. That's Kim Rager. He's 22. He's got a funky name, but he's got no inside. But he's got B+ defense to start out with, and if he can develop his rebounding at all, I think he'll be decent. So he kind
of fits into my my thing I said earlier about big men only having good defense and nothing else. So I don't like him much.
Yeah, I know. It's just he's not poor anywhere. I mean, he's got C handling, he's got C- outside.
Right.
So
yeah.
His free throws
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He could be decent. So we'll see.
So move on to power forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Power forwards is a tricky one this year. I think
it's stronger than center.
Probably.
But it is tricky. I agree with you. The top guy has to be Yermakov, like I said earlier. But he's 24 years old. So
yeah.
It's going to scare some people off, definitely.
So are people going to look at him and say Howard Barnett version 2, or what?
It's possible. I mean, they look very similar, same age, or not. They might not be exact, but
I think they're like a year apart.
Yeah, it's very possible.
But then I think other than him, the top guy, it's like a toss up between Bolin and Andre Hood, probably. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I like Mike Drew too. He's with a B+ rebounding.
Yeah, but he doesn't really do much else. But he is young. I could see Mike Drew.
Yeah, and he's 19. So, Joel Lopez, I think, is another one.
Yeah, I could see him.
I do like Joel Lopez.
I believe he's 21, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm starting to worry about the big men that are good handlers. They never seem to explode in their careers now. I mean, Woodbury's had a solid career, but he's never been, like, elite or anything.
Yeah, that's 2-time All-Star Adam Woodbury there.
That is my former Super Six man.
I
might go with Andre Hood at number 2.
I think I would agree with you.
Yeah, Hood's not bad at all.
I think I would agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of Bowl, and I know other people are more than me. So I would have to say Hood is a better player all around.
No, I agree with that. I'd say Hood's probably my number 2 power forward.
I could see why people like Bolin. He's really balanced on offense, even though he's not great at it. And he's also he's like you said, he's not poor at anything. He's like the other guy. He's got good handling. He's got good rebounding, good defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good he's size. The tallest power forward on the board.
Yeah, that's good too.
He's not too skinny. 230 is not great, but it's not too skinny.
Right.
No, I think those are. I mean, I think probably Joel Lopez and Mike Drew would round out my top 5, with those 3 being my 1, 2, 3. So.
Yeah, I think it's tough to argue with that.
Yeah.
You guys got your one sleeper for this power forwards.
Well, Mofo, we'll let you start this time. So.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll be nice to you.
Put me under pressure. I was going to look a little longer.
Too bad.
Definitely not Ed Carrion, because I don't care if he's 18, he cannot score inside. So
yeah, no, I don't like him either.
Probably. I don't know if he's much of a sleeper, but I guess Neil Spencer.
Yeah, Neil Spencer's not bad. That's a big pick.
He seems a little too good to be a sleeper. Like, he might go like top 20.
I think the fact he's 20, he's a little bit skinny, and his F potential, I think that'll scare some people off.
Yeah, that potential is stupid, but it'll scare people off. So yeah, I'll pick him as a sleeper candidate from this power forward class.
I agree. Jerry, who do you got as your sleeper?
I
I have one.
kind of thing. There's a couple of guys that I'm looking at, but there's like one flaw with each of them that I really don't like.
Yeah.
If I had to go with one of them, though, I might go with, I guess, Switcher Joe, even though he's got a C inside.
Yeah, he could be decent.
Yeah, he's a good sleeper candidate because he'll probably go early second round.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one good training camp, and he's solid backup at worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna say Kyle Hopkins. I hope he takes that Sean Wade kind of jump. Maybe he won't, probably won't, but
that's going out there, yeah. But
I figure might as well go out there. I mean, he's got the B+ inside to start out with. He's got really good size on him. C- outside. He just doesn't seem bad. So
yeah, I like that pick as a really out there sleeper because he'll probably be picked a little higher than he should be because of his inside. But
yeah, I mean, at worst, I think he could end up being like a Henry Luna, Chuck Shields kind of guy. So
well, he can't really score outside like those two.
That's true, but I mean, well, yeah, that's true. But he can still score, I bet. So
unless all he can do is jump, you never know with that.
Hey. Yeah, that's why I hate taking guys based off inside. I hate it.
All right, so small forwards now.
Oh, small forward.
I think JB said this was the most talented position in the class or something.
Yeah.
I asked him one time.
What are the guys in it?
I mean, I think Brad Key's clear number one.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone could dispute that.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Key anymore. He's so good.
Oh yeah. Beyond that, I'm just I'm not seeing too much. Like
I like
I know, right?
I like Frank Murphy.
Frank Murphy.
Not necessarily as a strict small forward, but maybe as a small forward, power forward,
kind of mix.
Bench guy.
Yeah.
He's bench guy.
He's got some decent size to play power forward probably. He's kind of skinny though.
I bet he could probably play power forward pretty well, but I say that and his defense will probably drop there like everyone else does, so.
I guess probably Andy Bolton might be the second best guy.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe like Glenn Virgin, he's kind of up there.
Yeah.
Got really good rebound.
Yeah.
Small forward's kind of weak, actually.
I'm looking at this, I'm like, I don't know.
Power forward is way better than small forward.
I'd agree with that, tenfold. Glenn Virgin, I think.
Yeah, I said that.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I don't pay attention.
There are a lot of young guys in a small forward, though, so that's the good part, at least.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys could break out. I think Gary Norris might be a sleeper candidate that'll scare some people off with his age and potential, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's much of anything, really.
Well, yeah.
He's 22 with all B minuses. I don't think he'll develop much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the guys who look like Jeff Miller with the C+, 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 B, C+. I hate guys who look like that. A lot of people want to draft him because they're like, oh, he'll be balanced and everything. I'm like, no, he'll just suck forever. So.
All right, so you want to pick one sleeper for sure, Tyler? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got mine. Just don't take mine.
Oh, well, let's see. There's pressure. Sorry, I just read across Dick Booze, and that's just the best name ever. I think if I had to pick a sleeper, I'm gonna pick a long shot candidate because he's 23. I'm gonna go Stanley Cox, who starts with B inside, B outside. He's 6'10", 223. I don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of the year of the old draftees. So
yeah, a little bit.
You never know with them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like his scoring.
But if that F is really a B, then you have something there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if it's not all jumping in his inside, then he could be a decent scorer probably his rookie year. So
he could probably be at least a good bench scorer as a rookie if he does go down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jerry, who do you have?
Well, as you said, it's not really a great class. I know Coop's probably going to pick Steve Sorrell with his A- outside or something like that, but
Sorrell.
Other than that, I don't really see many good sleepers.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I got one. I think it's Ramon Wright. I like him a lot.
Oh yeah, I looked at him.
I like him a lot as a sleeper candidate because he's C+ at least everything.
Okay.
He's also got some talent. He's actually B outside. He's not like all B minuses at everything.
Yeah.
He's actually got good size. He's only 20.
I could definitely see that. I agree with you on that one.
I think he should go in the first round. He should be a late first rounder because if you can have birds on him and he develops, then he's actually a really good small forward to have.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, that's a decent sleeper. Someone I want to point out, John Booth, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
if he goes up at point guard and defense, then all of a sudden he's like a top point guard prospect.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think, even if he went up to like B- at defense, at point guard, I think that'd be worth. If you need a point guard, and it's late in the first or early in the second, he's still there. I mean, might as well take a shot. So.
One more guy I want to mention is Lewis Moon, because I'm sure he'll go way higher than he should be because of his age, but he's really skinny for a small forward, 208.
Oh yeah.
Not a great rebounder. He's decent, but he has very little talent. He's going to go way too high.
I agree with that. Someone will take him probably a top 20 if I had to guess.
That'd be crazy.
Well, I guess Donner's not here in the league to pick anymore. But
yeah, if Donner were here, you would take Ed Carey on.
Oh, that's true.
Top 15 or whatever. All right, shooting guard now.
Alan West.
This is a better position than small forward, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Alan West might be my top prospect.
It's got to be George Blazer. You don't agree with that?
I agree with Blazer.
Yeah.
You don't like him, Tyler?
I mean, I like him, of course. I would never make fun of anyone who took him or anything. I just think that C handling for a shooting guard is a little bit iffy for me. And someone like Alan West, who comes out with B- inside, B+ outside, B- handling, C+ rebounding, and he's only 19 and he's 6'8". I think he's going to end up being the best player in this class. Well,
best player overall?
As shooting guard.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
I could see your scenario playing out too, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I like both of them. Obviously, I just think I don't know that C handling. I want my shooting guards to not. I want them to at least have C+ handling. That's just how I always am. And C's not the biggest deal for me, but I really like Alan West in this class.
I could see why. I like Alan West too. I don't like him as much as Blazer, but I like him. I like West as a potential like maybe Michael Carter-Williams with better defense or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think those two are the clear-cut best shooting guards in this class.
Well, I also like Dan Libby a lot.
Oh yeah, I like him too. He's not bad.
I think those are like the clear top three right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. He's just 20. I'm not sure if I like him more than I like Alan West, but
I mean, 20, you can't really discriminate against guys who are being 20.
No. Of course not. But I'm not saying don't pick him. He's 20. I'm just saying, Alan West gives you that extra year. That's more of what I was looking at. If I had to, just comparing the two talents, I think Dan Libby's a phenomenal shooting guard talent. Someone definitely needs to pick him in the lottery, I would say.
Who's catching your eye, Jerry, here out of the shooting guards?
Well, not really anyone really good, but if it's like really late in the second, you might want to go with Hank Rexford, if he's still there.
Yeah. That wouldn't be a bad pick for a second.
He's probably he's like a mid-second rounder probably, I'd say.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be bad.
Who's your guys' sleeper then, if you had to pick one?
Is that your sleeper, Jerry?
I guess, why not?
Yeah, why not?
I'm all about. Oh man, I don't know, because there's just so many guys I want to say. I want to pick a young one though, because I've gone with two oldies, like 2 or 3 oldies so far. Ooh, I don't know. Mofo, do you have one picked out, or are you still looking too?
Yeah, I'm still looking.
It's just hard to find like a sleeper in this one. I think everyone's.
I got one. Okay, never mind.
All right, who's yours?
Harry Lopez.
Harry Lopez. Okay. Yeah, see, he's not bad.
He's solid. He's got a okay skill set. He can't shoot, like I said earlier, but as a sleeper, if he goes late enough, he's solid value.
Yeah. I think someone will probably reach on him earlier than they should, but
yeah.
I think for me, I'll probably go Eddie Davidson. He's 21. He looks the exact same as that small forward that I picked as my sleeper. So clearly there's a pattern.
He's a better handler though, right?
Yeah, that's true. So and And he's a little bit younger too. But I think Eddie Davidson could be something good. I think someone will probably reach on him too, which is sad. But
I'm very curious to see where a guy like James Gooley will go because he's 18 and he's got to be inside, be defense, but he can't shoot a lick.
no, he cannot shoot at all.
But I have a feeling he'll get picked higher than normal. But I just want to see where he'll go.
Yeah.
People love 18-year-olds right now.
They really do. They
Yep.
really do. And then someone like Jesse Hanrahan. I think
Hanrahan, yeah.
his D plus handling kills me, but I think someone will take him for his defense. Maybe
He can't score at all, though. He's horrible. I don't even think he should be drafted, a guy like that. I hate guys like that.
Yeah.
But then you got a guy like Grady Waltz, who, if he goes up a point guard too, he's actually a pretty good point guard prospect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though he's 22.
Yeah, I do like Grady Walls. I think if his inside were C plus, I'd take a chance on him on point guard, probably mid first round. But that inside kind of scares me a little bit.
And then we got the last position, which I think is the best position of the draft, which is point guard.
Yeah, I like the point guards in this class.
Yep. The most important position.
Definitely.
Yeah, easily.
I think we all agree Whitehurst is the best.
Yep.
Jerry, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's in agreement on that one. I think
he's got superstar potential. He's 6'5". He's pretty big for a point guard, 224, which is probably good.
Yeah.
He could score inside. He's a really, really good handler for a point guard. He could shoot. I mean, he's just a total package, except for defense, which is a little flawed right now, but I don't think it's enough to stop him from going top 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like him a lot.
And then there's probably 2 other lotto picks in Kurt Hewling and Isaac Yardley.
Yeah,
They could both go top 10. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Those are the 2 I was going to mention. Kurt Hewling's probably my second best point guard in this class. I mean, I would take a guy. I think Josiah Turner, when he came out, I picked him in the mid first round. I think he had the exact same attributes, but C+, C+ for scoring. And so someone like Kurt Hewling, I think that he has a chance to be a phenomenal point guard, in my opinion.
Hewling and Yardley are a lot alike in ratings.
Yes.
I think, but Yardley's a little better inside, and Hewling's a little better handling and rebounding.
Yeah. I think I got Whitehurst and then Hewling and then Yardley is my top 3 in that order.
What about you, Jerry?
Yeah, I have the same thing.
Yeah, I think those 3 are the clear cuts.
I don't know. It's a toss-up between me and for Hewling and Yardley. I don't know. I like them both. I think they're both be starting point guards.
I think if
The thing with Yardley, though. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. You're good.
Well, the thing with Yardley, he's got a bunch of weight and a bunch of height on him on a Hewling as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good thing, definitely. But I think if I'm looking at like Chris Paul back in the day. He was like 6'3", 190, and he still had a huge career. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, point guard size. Right. I think it helps to have a guy like Larry Austin, who's obviously like 6'6", tower over point guards. But I don't think it's like a game breaker.
Well, the way I look at it is, if someone has an enormous amount of talent like Chris Paul, their size isn't going to matter. But if someone's just kind of like average, middle of the pack kind of guy, maybe their size can set them apart a little bit.
What about Otis Stone?
Well, he's a phenomenal talent, like I said. So.
Oh yeah, good point.
I think if I had to throw a 4th point guard in the mix, I'd throw Bob Howells. I mentioned him before we started the podcast, but I think he could be a decent guy.
Yeah, he's good, an okay skill set, and he's actually a good rebounder too, just like Hewling.
Yeah, they all kind of look the same to me, honestly, besides Whitehurst, but I think those are my top 4 point guards.
I think those guys will all go in the top 20, and they all deserve to go in the top 20.
Yeah.
But then, there's also a guy like Richard Hickson, who's actually looks pretty good too. I kind of overlooked him.
Hickson doesn't look bad.
No, he doesn't.
Go ahead.
No, I just said no, he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't look bad.
He reaches my minimum threshold inside, which is C+, but he's like a really poor rebounder, which I hate as a point guard.
I hate that too.
But his defense is the same as Whitehurst, but he doesn't have the skill set that Whitehurst has, obviously.
Right.
But still, but like him as the 5th best guy, he's way better than like 5th best small forward or 5th best center or whatever.
Yeah, that's
right.
100% true.
And then there's the guy like Yi Lee, who I'm sure Jerry would love to have because he's a 4-letter name guy.
Or Thug, because he's Asian, so.
Oh yeah, true, I guess.
There's got to be a hot market for him.
It's like Sun Ma. Or no, what was that guy's name? Anma or whatever his name was?
Anma.
Anma.
Oh, so terrible.
Yeah, but I think this is the best point guard class to come around in years.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. There are numerous guys I could see being, even a guy like, I mean, well, I don't know. I guess I'll get to him when we get to sleepers. So, do we want to do sleepers?
Yeah.
Jerry, you can go first.
Good project I have for the later first round is James Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only 18, so yeah. I have no problem taking an 18-year-old if he has a decent skill set at the end of the first round. I know some people were like, a few years ago when Reality took Jeff Fisk at the end of the first round, Hodge was ripping him apart. But I feel like that was a good pick, even though Fisk hasn't worked out. Because if you take that guy in like the second round, then he becomes like a great player like Sean Wade has, then you lose him in 2 years. But if you take him like in the late 20s, then he turns out then you have Birds on him in 4 years.
Yeah,
Right.
I absolutely agree.
It's worth the risk to take a guy like that late in the first round.
James Bailey I was going to mention too. That's a good sleeper pick there by Jared.
That's what Jerry just said, yeah. Bailey, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Bailey. If you take Bailey in the late first round, it's worth it because of his age.
His age and his handling. I mean, the other things you can get up, but point guards seem to have a big trouble getting their handling up throughout their career.
Tyler's sleeper pick is Walt Boner, right?
Oh yeah,
25 years old.
Oh,
great name.
It's awesome.
I'll go first. My sleeper pick is probably Clyde Davis.
I was looking at him too
because I think he might make a better shooting guard, even though he's kind of small. But even if he stays a point guard, he could be. I mean, you never know with his handling. He could be really bad at quickness, but he could have good handling and passing, so he might make a good point guard. Who knows? You don't know until they play.
Yeah,
right.
I completely agree with that.
I think Lorenzo Clay's all like that. He's a good handler and a good passer, but he's a forward quickness. But he's still a great player. So
yeah,
and Clyde Davis, he's the B outside and the B defense is a really good start for a point guard.
Yeah,
he definitely looks really good.
So he should go in the first round for sure.
Plus he's 19.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
the main reason why.
The age.
Who's your sleeper, Tyler?
Well, you guys kind of touched on the two that I was going to touch on, so I'm going to have to go outside the box here.
What about Robert Griffin the fourth?
If I had to pick, see, I like your twos, but if I had to go with one, I would probably go with Anthony Dotson. I know he's 21. I mean, that's probably the youngest sleeper I've taken so far, but I don't know. He just kind of reminds me of like that Tim Drake. Obviously, Tim Drake was 17, so that's a different
4-year age difference. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. He just got that. Just has that skill set that kind of makes me think that he can end up being something. And I think the two that you picked would be the bigger sleepers over him. But if I had to go with a third one, he would probably be my guy. Him or Stan or Razoko or whatever, however you pronounce it.
Stan Orozco.
Orozco, yeah, that'd probably be a better way to pronounce it. I don't know, someone kind of like that. I might even like Orozco a little bit more because of his inside, and Dotson might not ever be able to get that up, but I don't know, to someone like that.
So if you guys had to rate this class, give it a letter grade, what would you guys give it?
I'm not really too keen on it. I would probably give it a C+.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I could see C+. That's probably pretty good.
That's what you're giving it, Tyler? C+?
I'll say B-. I think overall, I think some of the troubles at small forward and depth at like center and power forward bring it down a little bit. But I think the point guards, the talent of the point guards in this graph make it at least a B-, maybe even a B. So
if I had to rate it, I would agree with Jared. I'd say C+ because what did we say? We said small forward and center were the two weak positions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're just really weak this year. I don't know why. I don't know what JB was saying small forward was the best position back then. I don't know. He's supposedly the expert on drafting, so maybe he's going to be right about this, but I just don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Yeah.
So now that we talked about the draft, we got to talk a little bit about the teams that actually have the picks.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few, so.
I think the top 5 right now is pre-lotto. Isn't it Portland, Houston, Knicks would be the Mavs, Hawks, and who is the Lakers pick?
Portland.
Portland has they have the Lakers pick. You sure?
Yeah, they have.
No, they don't. They have your pick.
They have my pick. I thought that's. But mine and Lakers are tied.
And I think the Bulls have your. No, yeah, the Bulls have the Lakers pick, so
The top 6 are going to be some combination of that.
yeah, so it's Blazers, Rockets, Knicks, Hawks,
And then Blazers, Bulls.
Blazers, Bulls. Yeah. So if the Blazers got the number 1 pick, what do you see this team going toward? Or if they got like a top 3 pick, what do you guys see them going toward?
I'll start. They have
remember they have 2 top 5 picks right now too, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, they have their young center in Cabrera. They have their young power forward in Wade. They have their young small forward in Yoder. They have their young shooting guard in Ross. They have to go for a point guard here. I mean, they have Farrell, but he's 30. They have Goodwin, but he's 29 and below average.
But remember, Matt Yoder, the last half of the last sim, he had a huge sim at point guard.
That's true. I don't know. If I were JB, I'd probably take a small forward and a point guard. I think if you plan on using Yoder at point guard, it still wouldn't hurt to take someone else just to kind of. Because I don't think anyone he has on his roster. I don't think Newcomb's going to do anything. I mean, he looks.
So if things played out and they went number 1, you would say they would take Whitehurst.
Yeah, I'd say they take. I think he's too good of a talent not to take. Even if you have someone like David O'Neal and you won number 1 overall, I think you still take Whitehurst.
And then deal with the rest later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you think about Portland? What direction do you think they should go in if they get number 1?
If I was Portland, I would probably take Whitehurst. Same reasons as Tyler said, and plus you can never really have too many point guards.
Yeah.
True, yeah, because point guard is really usually a hot commodity in EBL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, even if you get Whitehurst, you can just move Yoder back to small forward. I know he had a huge sim at point guard, but, I mean, why not,
It's like drafting a point guard and a small forward in one.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I were Portland, if I were JB right now, I would love my future because this team is going to be great in the future. But having 2 top 5 picks potentially here is just like getting your cake and or whatever that cake expression is, getting eaten. I botched it for that.
Eating cake and doing things.
Whatever, yeah.
Eating 2 cakes.
Yes.
Having all the cake.
But if I were him, I would even look at like another big man maybe. Like maybe Tony Ellis if he gets like number 2 or 3, I would have no problem taking Tony Ellis.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's no definitive proof that Wade or Cabrera is going to pan out. So
yes, and Kevin Farrell is still only going to be 31 years old. So I know JB would love to move him, but he's still a 20-10 guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But if he had the number 1 pick, you got to go Whitehurst on this team for sure. And I would consider a big man with the second lotto pick.
Yeah, I think if one of the really good ones is still there, it wouldn't hurt to take him. But I mean, outside of like Tony Ellis, I don't know who the other one would be. So
maybe I don't think JB would take him, but like Yermakov or something.
JB would never take him.
Andre Hood. He might take Andre Hood.
Oh yeah, he could take Andre Hood.
Although he loves defense, not so much lately.
All right, so who else?
And then there's Houston. They traded a bunch of picks away already, but they have their own.
Right.
And they have the Heat, which is the lotto pick.
Yep.
So Jerry, if you were the Rockets right now, what would you be looking at with their pick, which is number 2? Right?
Let's see. Head to a load up thing. Well, their big man situation is pretty dire. Yeah. Their point guard's not very good.
Point guard's horrible.
Yeah. Pretty much everything on there except for Ross Falk is bad.
He likes Angel Doty, whatever his name is, Angel Doty.
Yeah. Well, he's good, but
I don't like.
Other than that,
yeah. I have a big peeve with Doty, but we won't get into that.
If he gets number 1, I would take Whitehurst. But
what if he got number 2 and Whitehurst is off the board?
Yeah, if Whitehurst is gone, I would probably take. I would probably take one of the bigs.
Like Tony Ellis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Ellis was going to be my pick for them. If Whitehurst is gone, you definitely take Tony Ellis. You don't even hesitate.
Yeah.
You don't think this would be a situation where Thug would reach for a point guard? You don't think he'd actually do that?
I hope not. I mean,
I think Thug's too smart. He would trade down first, and then he'd get one of the other point guards later on.
Well, he has the Heat, so he could probably take one there if he needed.
The Heat pick is what number is the Heat?
It can't be too good. Well, actually, it might be.
He is kind of near the
8-ish
part.
It's number 12.
Yeah, I just counted out 12. That's the point guards will probably be gone by then, so he's kind of in a sticky situation if he doesn't get Whitehurst.
Oh, maybe. I guess most of the teams picking before them really do need a point guard. So.
Yeah.
So Thug really needs to win the lottery, or hope that JB doesn't take what's his name, Whitehurst.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
This team is really devoid of talent, so he could probably go best player available other than shooting guard with this 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, and it wouldn't matter. Someone like Brad Key even wouldn't be bad. So.
No, you pair him and Falk together would be a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Yeah, I think Whitehurst, Key, Tony Ellis. I think those would be my 3. I mean, those are probably my 3 best players in this draft, honestly, in my opinion. So. But I think all 3 just happen to be good fits on Houston.
And then look at our number 3, which is the Hawks right now, which is basically a one-man team.
Adrian Cool and nothing else?
Yeah, well, the Ron Washington, they started him last time. He did horrible. Hopefully he could not. Hopefully Ron Washington isn't like stopping him from drafting Whitehurst or something.
Yeah, I hope not.
But I'll go first. If I were this team, obviously he's planning for free agency.
Right.
But I'd say more important is his draft pick, which is obviously going to be top 6 at the worst, hopefully top 3 for his sake.
Yeah.
But if I were him, I would, let's assume that like Whitehurst goes 1, Key goes 2,
and he gets number 3.
And he's sitting there number 3, or Ellis goes 2, whatever. You got to take Brad Key or Tony Ellis.
Yeah, one of those 2.
Right.
One of those 2 has to be taken, and with the third top 3 pick, whoever it is.
I think those are the clear consensus top 3 players, and I think all 3 of them could be used. I mean, if these 3 teams get top 3 picks. So.
But the WC has a lot of flexibility because he really only has one position filled out of 5.
Right.
So even if he takes like George Blazer, he can move Blazer to small forward because he's 6'6". So
right.
Like if he falls to like 5 or 6, he could take Blazer and it wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Did he ever start Parker Jackson Cartwright at point guard last season?
No, he started him in small forward all year, I think.
That is a grave mistake to me. I think if I were him, I would have seen how PJC did a point guard that way.
I don't think he was trying to win too much last year, though.
Yeah, no, true. But, I mean, you might as well see what you have, you know? I mean, PJC was drafted as a point guard. He's tiny at small forward and shooting guard. I don't think
he can't play defense at those positions.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, he probably just gets shot over every single time. I don't even think he could jump to match the height.
Yeah, I'd love to see a 6'1" small forward in the NBA.
It would be phenomenal. I'd love to see it. But I'm with you. I think Brad Key or Tony Ellis. I mean,
there's not really much to say about the Hawks because they're just so unknown right now besides school.
Right.
They could pick anybody and wouldn't be surprised.
No, you can't really go wrong unless you draft a shooting guard, and then you're just.
Well, like I said, Blazer. They could take Blazer and move him small forward.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And then who's 4th again? It was
I think
we missed the Knicks.
The Knicks with the Mavericks pick.
Oh yeah, we missed the Knicks. The Knicks are actually 3rd. So
okay, we'll hopefully take the one of the triumvirate that's not gone.
Yeah, they'll take Ellis or
Key.
Yeah, Key.
Or
Ellis.
So
the Hawks would pick 4th, or the Hawks are 4th right now. So they would they can take like Blazer. Blazer would be available for them, or a big man. And the Knicks. The Knicks are just the rich getting richer with that number 3 pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They definitely need help.
I don't know what I would take though if I were them because their starting 5 is so good.
DPA. You take the best player available.
Yeah, I guess.
There's no one. I mean, Rozier, phenomenal. If one of the good point guards is there, I'd take them. I'm still not sold on Castanon. I probably never will be.
You hate him.
I really do. I
hate that he can't rebound. That's the one thing I hate about him.
I don't know. It seems like he'll always be one of those guys that sits around like 9 or less assists per game, and I just don't think. I don't know. I don't like it.
But yeah, he should really just go BPA and just get another asset to trade for whatever he needs in the future. His team's loaded.
Right.
The best in the East, clearly. And then there's rest of the top 5. There's I have no memory. Who is the Lakers pick again? The Bulls.
Lakers
have Bulls and Blazers have mine. But we already covered the Blazers, so.
So the Bulls, last team we could talk about.
Kind of need everything.
He completely redid his team at the trade deadline.
Right.
And really all he has right now is Bob Haynes.
Yeah.
But he also has a soft spot for Thomas Thompson for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't get it either.
But he's got guys like Dave Hampton, who's a huge bust, and McAdoo's a free agent, so he's going to lose him. And Stafford, he's got Vince Stafford, who's pretty good.
Yeah, I just don't. He did not get enough for DJ White. That's what it comes down to, in my opinion.
He got this pick for him, so he's got to hope this pick gets to number 1 or something. Then it would look a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, he has this pick next year too, and I guess he freed up some cap room. He's got a lot of cap room this free agency, so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's rebuilding his team completely now.
There's no position that I wouldn't take on this team. I mean, even small forward Bob Haynes, you could play Bob Haynes at shooting guard if you had to. I mean, there's just you take best player available with this.
Right. I think this is where Bolden might go.
Yeah.
Where who?
Bolden.
Oh yeah, Bolden. Yeah, it's a possibility. I think this would be a little high for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got taken higher than I would take him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really need a big man for sure.
They need everything. I mean, they just need everything. I don't know.
It's so unpredictable just looking through this top 5 because other than the Blazers and the Knicks, teams just have so many needs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just. I mean, I think each team besides those two just go. I mean, and even Knicks, I think all these teams are just going to go best player available. They're not really looking for one thing. I would have to assume at least.
That this is all going to be determined by the draft lottery. The draft lottery is huge this year.
Yeah.
Because it's like a team like Portland, if they fall to number 4 or something, then their whole strategy is screwed over.
Right.
But then it could happen. You never know.
Yeah.
The lottery screws over teams all the
time. Or maybe they could get 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then his future is looking unbelievably bright because he gets to add Whitehurst and Tony Ellis.
Oh, that'd be ridiculous.
Or Brad Key even.
Yeah, I don't even know.
That'd be ridiculous. Imagine Houston if they got 1 and 2 too, which is possible, although unlikely. They can get Whitehurst and Tony Ellis, add Ross Falk. Be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. If you had Whitehurst, Falk, Doty, and Tony Ellis, and Jay Rich Jr. even, that'd be a great starting block.
Although I don't like Jay Rich Jr. much.
I don't really either, but I know a lot of people are high on him, and even if Thug doesn't like him, I'm sure he could sell him to someone who does. So.
Right. This is running an hour now. You guys want to wrap it up?
Yeah, absolutely. For this draft overall, I know I've said it a few times, but the top 3 talents in this draft are Whitehurst, Key, and Tony Ellis. Probably Tony Ellis number 2. I think any team that, if someone gets a considerable jump in the draft, I think someone's going to walk away really lucky if you end up with those top 3 picks. So.
Yeah.
And this class is not really that deep, but it's pretty top heavy with there's probably 5 or 6 difference makers in EBL in this class.
I agree.
And you can get some depth in the mid-teens to late 20s, but I don't think we're going to see many second round steals in this class.
No, I think we probably will see a few sleepers taken late in the first. Maybe not ending up like superstars, but
yeah,
they're definitely serviceable players to be found later on. So
take gambles, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the draft is. Essentially, it's a giant gamble.
Yep.
Someone like Tony Ellis could end up like Hampton, and you just never know.
Boy, that would suck.
That would really suck.
I would want to quit EBL if I were me, and that happened. Dave Hampton is horrible. All right.
I think that'll do it.
Leave on the note that Dave Hampton is horrible.
That seems like a good one.
Sorry, Karachi, I know, but you don't have him anymore, at least.
Yeah, he's smart enough. Jerry, thanks for joining us. Nice to have
thank you.
Fresh voice.
Thanks for having me over.
Fresh voice in the studio besides Hodge's thick Canadian.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention Montreal Expos, Delano DeShields, Montreal Alouettes.
There you go, Hodge. You're represented.
Filling in all the Hodge void. Eh?
Yeah, A.
Hey. All right.
And also Saskatchewan.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
All right. Good night.